Welcome back, everybody, to What's Going On Seaville. We have a very special man in the house.
Yes, we do.
Restaurateur and chef extraordinaire, Brian Helleberg.
Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Bon nuit,
Bon nuit.
Brian. I know you're not French, but I can't help it with the name Fleurie. So let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
You are the owner of Fleurie and also Petit Pois.
Correct.
Right? But you are the chef at Fleurie, and we're going to focus on Fleurie tonight. How did this all begin? The French theme. Are you French?
No, I just wanted to learn cooking, and the French, I think, are known for their being meticulous in the kitchen and creative and using a lot of local ingredients and being very disciplined in the kitchen. So I think they just had the most complete repertoire of culinary skills, so I wanted to learn French.
And is that after having tried several different types of cuisine?
Well, I started off at a restaurant here in town called Duners, and we did a little bit of everything there, a little French technique, Italian, even Japanese and Chinese. We pretty much tried everything, and I just enjoyed the French the most, so a little bit of trial and error led me in the French direction.
Where are you originally from?
Well, I grew up here from the 4th grade on, so I was actually born in Germany, and lived in New York for a while, and then my parents moved here, and 4th grade on, I've been in Charlottesville.
Were you cooking in New York?
Later on in my life, I was. But
tell us about that.
okay,
Tell us your journey.
Yeah, he actually started really young, didn't you? You started here.
I started in the restaurant business young. I think I was 14 years old. I was bussing tables up at Wintergreen and working out at Duners some. My parents wanted me to go into college, and I gave that a try, but they kept kicking me out of there. So
I hate that.
And eventually ended up cooking some more, and when I wanted to get a little bit more serious about it, I went up to D.C. and I cooked for some famous chefs there. Yannick Cam, I cooked for in a restaurant called Provence, and then he moved me on to a place called Gerard's Place, and I worked there for him for a few years. And then after that, I went to Manhattan and worked for another French chef named Jean-Yves Schillinger. And from there, I wanted to learn some more, and I asked him to refer me to one of his chefs that he'd recommend that I work for next to do some more learning, and he told me to go ahead and start my own restaurant, that I was ready to go out on my own. So I asked him.
How did you feel when he said that?
I was
excited, nervous?
I was excited.
Yeah.
Because I really had a lot of respect for him and still do. And he said, go back to this Charlottesville and open a restaurant. So I said, okay, well then, can I have next weekend off? I'm going to go up to Charlottesville. And
he said no.
Got here, and the first place I looked at was turned out to be Fleurie.
The very same spot you are now.
The first spot that I looked at, I said I'll take it. So
that's wonderful. But something happened, though, right? It didn't sort of go that easily.
Yeah, there was. I left, went back to my job in New York, and I told my chef, I said, okay, I found the spot, the perfect spot. And then I heard back from the landlord a couple weeks later that it had fallen through, that there was another occupant, a current tenant, and they decided to stay for another year, basically. So I came to Charlottesville, and I looked around for almost a year to find a spot, but I didn't find any better than the first one that I saw in where we are now. So that eventually, after a year, it became available, and the landlord called me and asked me if I was still interested, and I said, yep, I'd take it.
So Fleurie was set up, and how soon after did Petit Pois open? And why don't you start by telling us the differences between those two restaurants?
Fleurie's white tablecloth, upscale, a little bit more of a special occasion restaurant, and we were in business for a few years, and I always wanted to do a bistro or something to complement Fleurie and to attract a different audience. So I had noticed this little Mexican restaurant around the corner. I think it was called Baja Rapido at the time, and I thought it would be a perfect little space for a bistro, and convenient enough that I could kind of keep my eye on it. And so it took me a number of years, but I tried to buy that for a number of years, and finally it became available. So the main difference, I'd say, would be in price point. It's a lot less expensive at Petit Pois. It's a bistro. We keep it open 2 shifts a day, 7 days a week. So we have lunch there Monday through Saturday, and we do a brunch on Sunday. and we do dinner 7 days a week there. So, and it's even smaller than Fleurie, but we have a huge patio out there. So
Yeah, that's a wonderful location.
Yeah, a lot of outdoor dining. We have a great chef there named Brian Jones, who's been there since the beginning, and he has just a real good grasp on the food, which is kind of contemporary French bistro fare. So we have it lightened up a little bit. We have it mixed in with some classic French cuisine as well. But it's about half the price of Fleurie, and you can be in and out of there quickly versus Fleurie. A lot of people want to stay and spend a few hours. And
the way it should be.
Yep.
Dining is an experience.
So has it always been cooking that you were interested in? Like when you first got in at such a young age, you couldn't have been cooking. So was that just the natural progression, or?
Well, actually, I wanted to play professional football.
Yeah, me too.
But that didn't work out.
Did you really? That's so cute.
That's from the time I was about that big, I did. But that was pretty obvious early on that wasn't going to work out. So I wasn't really sure. My parents always just said try to find something that you enjoy, and I think that's probably why I struggled a little bit through college. I just didn't really find exactly what I wanted to study, and in the meantime, I was working in these restaurants, and I really enjoyed the energy of the restaurants, particularly in the kitchen. And there's a little bit of everything to do in the restaurant, whether it's managing or the cooking or just even on a busy Saturday night walking through the dining room. It's just I still get a little bit of a thrill out of it. So I like the adrenaline and the energy of the restaurant business.
So as an owner chef, do you do the hiring? Are you the final say when it comes to hiring staff?
I guess could be the final say, but I try to turn that over to other people. I hire some people and grab good ones when I see them, but I'm trying to do a little bit less of that and a little bit more back to why I got into the business in the first place, which was the cooking.
Great.
This
is something that we have never done before with any other restaurateur. Before we get into your food, you have been hiring people in the restaurant business for a long time, I'm sure. Tell us the do's and the don'ts about people, because there might be people out there that are listening that need a job. Tell them the do's and don'ts about coming and getting a job in a restaurant, what you look for, what you do not look for.
I guess you kind of know it when you see it, but a lot of people look at the restaurant business as a transient type job, but for me it's a career and it's a passion, so I feel a little bit not respected if someone comes in the middle of service and they drop off or they don't even have a resume. So there's some people that don't seem like they take it too seriously versus in Europe, and for the chefs that I trained under, to be called a chef is really a mark of respect and distinction. So those are the guys that I work for, and you don't see too much of that in this country. I think food and the restaurant business is kind of a second thought career for a lot of people. So I love it when someone comes in and they have some sort of passion for food and wine, and they want to learn. I think that people that come in and kind of know everything I generally let them work for somebody else.
That's a good idea.
Right.